Do you have advice for young people? So you've had a heck of a life. You've done quite a lot of things. Start before MIT, but starting with MIT. Is there advice you have for young people in high school and college? How to um, have a career they can be proud of? How to have a life they can be proud of?
I was asked by somebody for quick advice for his young children. He had twins when they enter adulthood. He said, "Give me your advice for them in a letter. I'm going to give it to them when they turn 21 or something."
Mm-hmm.
So then I thought I was at a party, and then he handed me this sheet of paper. And I thought, oh, he wants me to write it down right now. So I sat down, I started writing, and I figured, well, what would you want to tell someone at age 21?
You wrote it down.
So I wrote it down.
Awesome.
And then I tweeted it, and it's sitting on Twitter, but I tell you what I said. I said,
Mm-hmm.
my advice if you're entering adulthood, focus your energy, guard your time, train your mind, train your body, think for yourself, curate your friends, curate your environment, keep your promises, stay cheerful and constructive, and upgrade the world. Like that was the 10.
Upgrade the world. That's an interesting choice of words. Upgrade the world. Upgrade the world.
It's like an engineer's
Focus your energy. It's a very engineering themed. Keep your promises too. That's an interesting one.
I think most people suffer because they don't focus. Like you got to figure out. I think the big risk in this world is there's too much of everything.
Yeah.
Like you can sit and watch chess videos 100 hours a week, and you'll never get through all the chess videos. Right? There's too much of every possible thing, too much of every good thing. So figuring out what you want to do, and then everything will suck up your time, right? There's 100 streaming channels to binge watch on. So you got to guard your time, and then train your body, train your mind, and control who's around you, control what surrounds you. So ultimately, in a world where there's too much of everything, then your
It's like those laser eyes. It's like those laser eyes. You have to focus on just a few of those things.
Yeah, I mean, I got 1,000 opinions we could talk about, and I could pursue 1,000 things, but I don't expect to be successful. And I'm not sure that my opinion in any of the 999 is any more valid than the leader of thought in that area. So how about if I just focus upon one thing and then deliver the best I can in the one thing? That's the laser eye message. The rest get you distracted.
How do you achieve that? Do you find yourself, given where you are in life, having to say no a lot? Or just focus comes naturally when you just ignore everything around you? So how do you achieve that focus?
I think it helps if people know what you're focused on.
So everything about you just radiates that people know. People know this is.
If they know what you're focused on, then you won't get so many other things coming your way. If you dally, or if you flirt with 27 different things, then you're going to get approached by people in each of the 27 communities, right?
You mentioned getting a PhD and giving your roots at MIT. Do you think there's all kinds of journeys you can take to educate yourself? Do you think a PhD or school is still worth it? Or is there other paths through life that...
Is it worth it if you have to pay for it? Is it worth it if you have to spend the time on it?
The time and the money is a big cost.
I think...
time probably the bigger one, right?
It seems clear to me that the world wants more specialists. It wants you to be an expert and to focus on in one area. and it's punishing generalist, jack of all trades, especially people that are generalists in the physical realm. Because if you're a specialist in the digital realm, you might very well, you're the person with 700,000 followers on Twitter and you show them how to tie knots. Or, you're the banjo player, with 1.8 million followers. And when everybody types banjo, it's you, right?
Yeah.
And so the world wants people that do something well, and then it wants to stamp out 18 million copies of them. And so that argues in favor of focus. Now, I mean, the definition of a PhD is someone with enough of an education that they're capable of or have made. I guess to get a PhD, technically, you have to have done a dissertation where you made a seminal contribution to the body of human knowledge, right? And if you haven't done that, technically, you have a master's degree, but you're not a doctor. So if you're interested in any of the academic disciplines that a PhD would be granted for, then I can see that being a reasonable pursuit. But there are many people that are specialists. The Aggimator? The Aggimator on YouTube?
Yeah.
He's the world's greatest chess commentator.
Yeah.
And I've watched his career, and he's got progressively better, and he's really good.
He's going to love hearing this.
Yeah, if the Aggimator ever hears this, I'm a big fan of the Aggimator. Unfortunately, I have to cut myself off, right? Because otherwise you'll watch the entire Paul Morphy saga for your weekend. But the point really is YouTube is full of experts who are specialists in something.
Yeah.
And they rise to the top of their profession. And Twitter is too, and the internet is. So I would advocate that you figure out what you're passionate about and what you're good at, and you do focus on it, especially if the thing that you're doing can be automated. The problem is, back to that 500,000 algebra teacher type comment. The problem is, if it is possible to be automated, then over time, someone's probably going to automate it, and that squeezes, the state space of everybody else. It's like after the lockdowns, it used to be there are like all these local bands that played in bars, and everybody went to the bar to see the local band. And then during the lockdown, you would have like these 6 super groups, and they would all get 500,000 or 1 million followers. And all these smaller local bands just got no attention at all.
Well, the interesting thing is one of those 500,000 algebra teachers is likely to be part of the automation. So it's an opportunity for you to think, where's my field, my discipline evolving into? I talked to a bunch of librarians, just happen to be friends with librarians, and libraries will probably be evolving, and it's up to you as a librarian to be one of the few that remain in the rubble.
If you're going to give commentary on Shakespeare plays, I want you to basically do it for every Shakespeare play. Like, I want you to be the Shakespeare dude, because once just like Lex, you're like,
I don't know what kind of
you're the deep thinking podcaster, right? Or you're the podcaster that goes after the deep intellectual conversations. And once I get comfortable with you and I like you, then I start binge watching Lex.
Yeah.
But if you changed your format through 16 different formats so that you could compete with 16 different other personalities on YouTube, you probably wouldn't beat any of them, right? You would probably just kind of sink into you're the number 2 or number 3 guy. You're not the number 1 guy in the format. And I think the algorithm, right? The Twitter algorithm and the YouTube algorithm, they really reward the person that's focused on message, consistent. The world wants somebody they can trust, that's consistent and reliable, and they kind of want to know what they're getting into, because, and this is taken for granted maybe, but there's 10 million people vying for every hour of your time. And so the fact that anybody gives you any time at all is a huge
It's amazing.
privilege, right? And you should be thanking them,
Yep.
and you should respect their time.
It's interesting. Like everything you said is very interesting. But of course, from my perspective, and probably from your perspective, my actual life has nothing to do with. It's just being focused on stuff. And in my case, it's like focus on doing the thing I really enjoy doing and being myself and not caring about anything else. Like I don't care about views or likes or attention. Uh, and that just maintaining that focus is the way, from an individual perspective, you live that life. But yeah, it does seem that there's the world and technology is rewarding the specialization and creating bigger and bigger platforms for the different specializations.